The words "you're not enough" sliced through the elegant ambiance of Seattle's most exclusive restaurant. Sophia Wilson, 25, CEO of Wilson Design Studio, sat perfectly still in her wheelchair, her fingers gripping the armrest so tightly her knuckles turned white. Brandon Reynolds, investment broker, and her blind date hadn't bothered to lower his voice. His disgust was a public performance. "I need someone whole," he continued, standing to his full height, dropping his napkin beside his barely touched salmon. "Not a project." The restaurant fell silent. Several patrons glanced away, embarrassed. Others stared with that particular blend of fascination and pity that Sophia had grown to despise more than outright cruelty. 3 tables away, Michael Thompson watched the scene unfold while his 7-year-old son, Noah, colored dinosaurs on his children's menu. Michael's weathered hands, calloused from years of janitorial work at Lakeside Rehabilitation Center, clenched involuntarily. He recognized the expression on Sophia's face. He'd seen it countless times on patients at the center. Dignity struggling against humiliation. "Dad?" Noah looked up, blue eyes wide with confusion. "Why is that man being so mean?" Michael's answer died in his throat as Brandon threw $40 on the table and walked out, leaving Sophia alone before her appetizer had even arrived. The silence that followed was deafening. "Stay here for a minute, buddy," Michael said softly. Noah nodded, returning to his dinosaurs with the solemn concentration only children can muster. Michael approached Sophia's table, crouching down to meet her eye level. "I couldn't help overhearing. I'm Michael, and that's my son Noah over there. We were wondering if you'd like to join us." Sophia looked up, startled. Tears balanced precariously on her lower lashes. "You don't have to do that," she whispered. "I know," Michael replied with a gentle smile. "We want to. Besides, Noah's dying to tell someone about the brachiosaurus he saw at the museum last weekend. Fair warning, he'll talk your ear off about dinosaurs." A small, surprised laugh escaped her. She studied his face. Kind eyes, laugh lines, no pity. Just human decency. "I'm Sophia," she said finally, "and I happen to like dinosaurs." Noah waved enthusiastically as they approached. "Hi, I'm Noah and I'm 7. That man was really mean. Dad says some people don't see what's important." "Your dad sounds very wise," Sophia replied, maneuvering her wheelchair into the space Michael cleared. "He knows everything," Noah said with absolute conviction. "He works at the big hospital, but before that, he was a fan of good food," Michael interrupted quickly. "Which reminds me, what would you like to eat, Sophia?" As they ordered dinner, Michael observed Sophia carefully. There was something familiar about her, something beyond her striking beauty. It wasn't until she mentioned her company, Wilson Design Studio, that recognition dawned. "Wait, you're designing the new accessibility app for Lakeside?" he asked, surprise evident in his voice. Sophia nodded, tucking a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. "Yes, we're partnering with several rehabilitation centers to develop better technology for patients with mobility issues." Her eyes lit up as she spoke, passion replacing the hurt from minutes before. "We're preparing for our IPO in 2 months. It's been my mission since my accident." "Accident?" Noah asked around a mouthful of macaroni and cheese. "I was an Olympic swimmer," Sophia explained, her voice softening. 3 years ago, I hit my head diving during training, damaged my spinal cord." She gestured to her wheelchair. "Life had other plans for me." Michael felt admiration bloom in his chest. Where others might have surrendered to bitterness, she had created purpose from pain. "So you work at Lakeside?" Sophia asked Michael, steering the conversation away from herself. "Maintenance staff," he answered simply, avoiding her eyes. "Dad fixes everything," Noah added proudly. "The doctors always ask him questions." Michael changed the subject quickly, uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation. By the time dessert arrived, Noah had thoroughly charmed Sophia with dinosaur facts, and Michael found himself captivated by her resilience and quiet strength. As they prepared to leave, Sophia hesitated, then offered Michael her business card. "I'd love to hear your thoughts on our app sometime. Users like your patients at Lakeside are exactly who we're designing for." From across the restaurant, Brandon watched their exchange, his expression darkening. He pulled out his phone and made a call. "Charles, it's Brandon from Whitestone Investments. About the Wilson Design investment, I think we need to reconsider. Our parent company, Health First, won't be pleased with what I've discovered." Over the next few days, Michael and Sophia spoke several times. She invited him and Noah to a baseball game, where they laughed and cheered together, temporarily forgetting the worlds that separated them. The following weekend, Michael took her to the Natural History Museum, Noah's favorite place, where his son led them on an enthusiastic tour of the dinosaur exhibit. Each moment together revealed new connections. Michael noticed how Sophia's professional armor melted away when she spoke to Noah, her CEO persona giving way to genuine warmth. Sophia observed the contradiction of Michael's humble maintenance uniform and the respect doctors showed him in passing, often stopping to ask his opinion on equipment issues. When Michael's phone rang one evening with Sophia's name on the screen, he answered with a smile that Noah immediately noticed. "Dad likes you," the boy told Sophia the next time they met for ice cream at the pier. "He smiles different when you call." Michael's three brothers, James, Daniel, and Robert, were less enthusiastic about his budding relationship. During their weekly video chat from Portland and San Francisco, their concern was evident. "A CEO in a wheelchair? Sounds complicated," James said bluntly. "Are you sure you're ready for that level of responsibility again, after Sarah?" "You just met her," Robert added, always the protective one. "Maybe we should hire someone to check her background." "Hire someone?" Michael laughed in disbelief. "She's not a criminal. She's a successful businesswoman." "Who happens to work with the same healthcare system that you publicly accused of letting Sarah die?" Daniel pointed out. "Doesn't that seem suspicious to you?" Michael ended the call frustrated. His brothers meant well, but they didn't understand. They hadn't seen Sophia's face when Brandon rejected her, hadn't witnessed her determination to help others like herself, hadn't felt the connection that grew stronger with each meeting. The following evening, Diana Thompson, Michael's mother, arrived unannounced at his apartment with a casserole and opinions in equal measure. "Noah says you're seeing someone," she said, studying him over her reading glasses. "A woman in a wheelchair." "Mom, it's not serious yet," Michael hedged, though his heart argued otherwise. Diana's expression softened. "After Sarah, I never thought you'd open your heart again. I just want you to be careful." Caring for someone with a disability isn't easy. "Sophia doesn't need caring for," Michael replied. "She runs a tech company. She's designing applications that help people with disabilities live independently." Diana patted his hand. "Just take it slow, Michael, for Noah's sake." But life had other plans. 2 weeks after their first meeting, Sophia sat at the head of her company's conference room, struggling to maintain composure as her entire executive team stared at her in disbelief. "They're pulling out? All 25 million? Sophia's CFO, Diane, looked ashen. "Without Health First investment, we can't move forward with the IPO. Brandon Reynolds claims our product lacks practical application," Sophia explained, the words tasting bitter. "He says we don't understand the actual needs of our users." Eleanor Williams, Sophia's 70-year-old mentor and board member, studied her protege over reading glasses. "And you believe the sudden change of heart has nothing to do with your personal interaction with Mr. Reynolds?" Before Sophia could answer, her assistant interrupted. "The Lakeside Focus Group is here." Sophia straightened in her wheelchair. "This is perfect timing. Let's show Brandon exactly how practical our application is." The door opened to reveal Dr. Martinez from Lakeside, followed by several patients and staff members. Among them, looking distinctly uncomfortable in his gray maintenance uniform, was Michael. Their eyes met across the room. He hadn't returned her call from yesterday, and now she understood why. He hadn't wanted to see her in this context, their worlds colliding. For the next hour, Sophia's team demonstrated the app's features while gathering feedback. When they reached the physical therapy module, one of the investors frowned. The movement tracking is impressive, but how does this translate to real therapeutic progress? Seems like a gimmick. Before any of Sophia's team could respond, Michael cleared his throat. Actually, the proprioception feedback loop here is crucial for patients with partial paralysis. It provides neurological reinforcement that traditional therapy methods can't offer. The room fell silent. Dr. Martinez stared at Michael with undisguised shock. The investor leaned forward. "And you are maintenance," Michael answered quietly, regret flashing across his face. "Mr. Thompson was being modest," Dr. Martinez interjected, shooting Michael a curious look. "He has quite the insight into our patients' needs." After the meeting, Sophia cornered Michael in the hallway. "You know more than you're letting on. Much more." Michael sighed, shoulders slumping. "It's complicated, Sophia." "Then uncomplicate it. Come to dinner tonight. Noah mentioned you make a mean spaghetti." Michael's resistance crumbled at the mention of his son. 7 o'clock. That evening, in Michael's modest two-bedroom apartment, Sophia learned the truth. After Noah went to bed, Michael pulled out a framed medical license from a box in his closet. "Dr. Michael Thompson, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine," Sophia read aloud, "specializing in rehabilitation medicine." She looked up, confusion evident. "You were a doctor? A specialist?" "One of the best," Michael said without pride, just simple fact. "I pioneered several rehabilitation protocols for spinal cord injuries. My research was published in every major journal." "But now you're a janitor." "Yes." Michael's smile was hollow. "My wife, Sarah, was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer 5 years ago. Noah was just 2. His voice cracked slightly. "There was an experimental treatment, her only hope. Health First, our insurance company, denied coverage." Understanding dawned on Sophia. "You paid out of pocket?" "Everything we had. When it wasn't enough, I sued Health First, created a media storm. Sarah died anyway." He stared at his hands. "Afterward, no hospital would touch me. I was blacklisted, a liability." "So you took the only job you could get?" "At a rehabilitation center." Michael nodded. "I couldn't leave medicine completely, even cleaning floors. I'm still in it somehow. I can still see patients improve, still feel connected to what I loved, without the burden of making life or death decisions that insurance companies override anyway." Sophia reached for his hand. "Noah doesn't know. He was too young to remember me as Dr. Thompson. I thought it was better that way, less to explain. Michael, your knowledge could transform our app. We're trying to help the same people you dedicated your life to." He withdrew his hand. "I'm sorry, Sophia. I can't go back to that world. Not even for you." As Sophia left that night, neither of them noticed the car parked across the street. Brandon Reynolds watching with calculating eyes. "What do you mean he used to work for Health First?" Sophia demanded, staring at Brandon across her desk 1 week later. Brandon's smile was predatory. "Your janitor boyfriend sued them for millions, created quite the PR nightmare." He slid a file across her desk. "Michael Thompson was once the golden boy of rehabilitation medicine, until he very publicly accused Health First of letting his wife die for profit. What does this have to do with our investment? Health First is our parent company, Sophia. Surely you knew that Whitestone Investments is a subsidiary of Health First Capital Group?" She hadn't. The revelation hit like a physical blow. Brandon continued, "The board is concerned that your relationship with Dr. Thompson represents a conflict of interest, perhaps even a coordinated attack on our company's reputation." That's ridiculous, Sophia sputtered. We met by accident. Michael didn't even know who I was. The board meets tomorrow to make their final decision about the IPO. If you want to salvage your company, I suggest you publicly distance yourself from Dr. Thompson. Brandon stood to leave. Such a shame. Your technology really could help people. If only your personal choices didn't compromise everything you've built. The moment Brandon left, Sophia called Michael, but her words tumbled out incoherently. Slow down, Michael urged. What's happening? Health first. They own Whitestone Investments, the group backing our IPO. They think we're conspiring against them because of your history with them. They're threatening to pull all funding unless I cut ties with you. The silence on the other end stretched painfully. I understand, Michael finally said, his voice carefully neutral. You have to protect your company. Michael, no, I'm not choosing. It's okay, Sophia. What we had, it was nice. But it was just a few weeks. Your company will help thousands of people like you. That matters more. He paused. I need to go. Noah's waiting for his bedtime story. The line went dead before she could respond. Sophia stared at the phone, tears streaming down her face. She had two choices: save her company or fight for a relationship that had barely begun. Logic dictated the former. Her heart screamed for the latter. Her phone buzzed with a series of texts from her three brothers in quick succession. James. Who is this janitor guy Mom says you're dating? Call me ASAP. Daniel. Just did some digging on your Michael Thompson. You need to hear this. Robert. Sis, you're not answering. We're flying in tomorrow. This looks serious. Sophia silenced her phone. Her overprotective brothers, scattered across Portland and San Francisco, meant well, but their timing couldn't be worse. She'd deal with them later. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Eleanor Williams stood in the doorway, her expression grave. You heard? Sophia asked. Eleanor nodded, closing the door behind her. Brandon Reynolds is playing a dangerous game. The older woman settled into a chair across from Sophia. What do you know about my husband, Richard? Only that he passed away a few years ago. Cancer, wasn't it? Pancreatic. Stage 4. Eleanor's eyes grew distant. Health First denied his final treatment too. Just like Sarah Thompson. Sophia's breath caught. You never told me. Some pains are too private to share. Eleanor opened her handbag and withdrew a USB drive. But perhaps it's time. Richard was Health First's chief actuary for 30 years. He knew their denials weren't just business decisions, they were systematic. What are you saying? I'm saying Richard kept records, detailed ones, of every high-cost treatment denial that resulted in a death, including Sarah Thompson's. Eleanor placed the drive on Sophia's desk. And mine isn't the only copy. The morning of the board meeting dawned bright and clear. Sophia arrived early. Her resolve hardened after a sleepless night reviewing Eleanor's files. The evidence was damning. Health First had deliberately denied coverage to patients whose treatments exceeded certain costs, regardless of medical necessity. In the lobby, she was surprised to find three men who shared her blonde hair and blue eyes. James, Daniel, and Robert Wilson, her brothers, all wearing expressions of concern and determination. We tried to warn you, James said, embracing her. Health First is bad news. We have connections in the healthcare industry, Daniel added. Michael Thompson's reputation was destroyed systematically, not because he was wrong, but because he was right. We're here to help, Robert finished. Whatever you need. Sophia squeezed their hands, grateful. Then follow my lead. Upstairs, Brandon greeted her with artificial warmth. Have you prepared your statement distancing yourself from Dr. Thompson? Actually, I've prepared something else. Sophia's smile was razor sharp. You might want to sit down. Before she could continue, a commotion erupted in the hallway. Michael burst through the doors, Noah trailing behind him. Behind them came an older woman who could only be Michael's mother, Diana, her face a mixture of pride and concern. "You can't go in there," Sophia's assistant called after them. "It's okay," Sophia said, though her heart hammered at the sight of Michael in a suit and tie, looking every inch the distinguished doctor he once was. "I didn't come to cause trouble," Michael said quickly. "I came because of this." He held up his phone, displaying a video that had gone viral overnight. The video showed Noah, his small face serious as he addressed the camera. "My mom died because Health First said no. Now they're being mean to Miss Sophia because they're scared. My dad was a doctor who helped people walk again. Miss Sophia makes things that help people like her. But Health First doesn't care about helping people." The video had over 3 million views. "Noah posted this without my knowledge," Michael explained, his expression a mixture of pride and concern. "But he's right. This isn't about me or my history with Health First. It's about them trying to control which patients get help based on their profit margins." Brandon stood, face flushed. "This is absurd. The boy's video is emotional manipulation, and these accusations are supported by evidence," Eleanor interrupted, entering with a security team. Brandon Reynolds, before joining Whitestone Investments, worked in Health First's claims denial department. In fact, she consulted a tablet, he personally signed the rejection for Sarah Thompson's treatment. The color drained from Brandon's face. "That's confidential information." "Not anymore," Sophia said firmly. "Not with 3 million people watching." Michael stepped forward. "I didn't know about Sophia's connection to Health First when we met. I wasn't plotting revenge. I was just a father having dinner with his son when we witnessed an act of cruelty." He turned to Sophia. "And I wasn't honest about who I was because I'd left that life behind. But Noah reminded me of something important. Hiding doesn't change who you are." The room had fallen silent, the board members exchanging uneasy glances. Sophia straightened in her wheelchair, addressing the board directly. "Gentlemen, I've made a decision. Wilson Design Studio is withdrawing its IPO application." Gasps echoed through the room. "Instead, we're restructuring as a non-profit organization. The Access for All Foundation will provide affordable technology to people with disabilities and advocate for insurance reform." She looked at Michael. "With Dr. Thompson as our medical director, if he's willing." Michael's eyes widened. "Sophia, your company, everything you've built, will help more people this way." She turned back to the stunned board members. "The files documenting Health First's systematic denial of life-saving treatments will be released to regulatory authorities this afternoon unless Health First agrees to revise its policies and establish a restitution fund for families of deceased policyholders." Brandon sputtered. "You can't blackmail a corporation." "It's not blackmail," Eleanor corrected. "It's accountability." From the back of the room, Diana Thompson stepped forward. "My daughter-in-law, Sarah, died because of your policies, Mr. Reynolds. How many other mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters have to die before your company values lives over profits?" Noah, who had been watching wide-eyed, suddenly spoke up. "Does this mean you and Dad can be together now? Because he really likes you. He smiles different when he talks about you." Michael flushed crimson. "Noah, buddy?" "Yes," Sophia answered, her eyes never leaving Michael's. "If your dad wants that, too." Behind her, James cleared his throat. "I guess we can cancel that background check now." Daniel elbowed him. "Shut up, James." Robert just smiled, nodding his approval. 2 years later, a different conference room. Michael stood at the podium, his white coat a reminder of the doctor he had reclaimed. Behind him, a screen displayed the Access for All Foundation's latest statistics. Over 10,000 patients served, 15,000 devices distributed, and a landmark lawsuit against Health First settled in their favor. "The journey hasn't been easy," Michael addressed the medical conference, "but true healing never is." In the front row, Sophia applauded, one hand resting on her pregnant belly. Beside her, Noah, now 9, fidgeted in his suit, counting the minutes until he could remove his tie. Diana sat proudly next to them, occasionally dabbing at her eyes. After the presentation, as they walked through the hospital corridors, Michael guiding Sophia's wheelchair, Noah skipping ahead, a familiar figure approached. Brandon Reynolds, noticeably thinner, humility now etched in his once arrogant features. "Dr. Thompson, Ms. Wilson," he greeted them awkwardly. "I wanted to apologize. After the settlement, I lost my position. It gave me time to think about the lives affected by my decisions." He hesitated. "I'm working at a patient advocacy group now." Sophia and Michael exchanged glances, years of shared struggle allowing them to communicate without words. "Everyone deserves a second chance, Mr. Reynolds," Sophia finally said. "We've built our foundation on that belief." After Brandon walked away, Noah looked up at his parents. "Is he good now?" Michael crouched down to his son's level. "People are complicated, buddy. They can do bad things and still change. Like how you were sad and hiding, but now you're a doctor again?" "Exactly," Michael smiled, ruffling Noah's hair. "Sometimes broken wheels lead to better roads." Later that evening, in their home overlooking Puget Sound, a house specially designed for Sophia's wheelchair with wide doorways and accessible countertops, Michael proposed a toast during their family dinner. All three Wilson brothers and Diana Thompson were present, the once suspicious family members now united. "To broken wheels and healing hearts," Michael said, his eyes shining with emotion. "And to the people brave enough to keep rolling forward," Sophia added, reaching for his hand. Outside their window, Seattle glittered like scattered stars, a reminder that even in darkness, light finds a way. Their path hadn't been straight or smooth. It had been riddled with obstacles, betrayals, and difficult choices. But as Michael kissed his wife, as Noah pretended to be grossed out while secretly smiling, as the baby kicked beneath Sophia's heart, they knew one thing with absolute certainty. They were whole. They were enough. They were home.